your favorite places that you visited in Scranton?
Scranton's awesome. My favorite places, well, the Radisson, obviously. Well, the glider. I love the glider. I love going to visit my buddy Michelle Dempsey at her architectural firm, EX10. My favorite place in Scranton, anywhere downtown, just walking around downtown. The Everhart Museum is my new favorite place. There's a cool new restaurant.
Terra.
That's what, yeah, it looks like it's a very fancy restaurant. We walked into it.
Welcome to Meeting Maggie, where we value each person's authenticity, whether it be over Starbucks or stargazing, and from fandom to fanfare. Season 2 of Meeting Maggie is all about the secret sauce of life. And as we discuss, they meet me, Maggie McGregor.
Different Starbucks order to sound cooler.
To sound hip?
No, I'm not I'm not hip. I can't be hip. So,
everyone, I am here with Andy Buckley. We are so lucky to have him on the podcast, Meeting Maggie. I guess we'll start out, with that dirty question. What is your Starbucks order?
I am lucky to be here, Maggie. So thank you for having me. First of all, I am meeting Maggie. My Starbucks are me. I actually, you know what? In the morning, I make coffee at home, but it's 90% of the time it's from the big Starbucks bag I get at the supermarket, the Pikes Peak or Pikes Place, I guess. Is it Pikes Place? Pikes Peak? Pikes. So when I go to Starbucks, here's what I do. I get a grande Pike in a venti cup. Someone from Starbucks told me to do that. So you pay for the grande. And because I use a lot of cream.
Yeah.
So I save 20 cents every time. 20 cents every time.
Wow.
It's right. I run a small paper company. We gotta cut corners where we can.
Yes, you're a businessman.
But what's funny is I have a couple of sons. My younger son loves, obviously, I guess everybody, me too, but the cake pops. So I'm often getting those, and then the chocolate croissants. But I love the blueberry muffins.
The reduced fat blueberry muffins, right?
They used to be not reduced fat, and they were great. Now they're still great, and I'm used to them now. But when they first made the change, I was like, wait, what? And that's like 10 years ago, I think they made the change, but they're still great. So there you go. That's my order. Not too fancy.
There we go. Well, Andy was everybody's favorite character, David Wallace, on The Office. Did you have a good time filming that role? It seemed like you guys were having a blast.
And I think you're right. I think I was everybody's favorite character. I don't think anybody.
You were my favorite?
Steve, Michael Scott, Dwight, second place. Third place to Wallace. But oh my goodness, yeah, just incredible. Like what a lovely group of people, from Steve all the way down, from Greg Daniels all the way down, actually the guy who created it in the States, to Owen Daniels, the kid that played my son, who's I call him a kid. He's like, it's funny, he's no longer a kid. He's probably in his late 20s now. Maybe his mid-20s. But no, it was just, my goodness, it was the best. I was, and this is a funny story related to Scranton, because, it's obviously where you are and where the show is, and where I just was like a month ago for the Chili's commercial.
Yes.
Which was a ton of fun. I love seeing my Scranton buddies, Tim Holmes and Michelle Dempsey. The Holmes family, the Dempsey family, rock on. It was an absolute blast. And then this is the sort of the funny story. So I was at Merrill Lynch. I was like a financial advisor at Merrill Lynch. A lot of people may know this if they're real fans of the show.
Yeah.
There we go. I beat you to it. We had done the third season where I hired Ryan to come to corporate, and we had started the next season, the fourth season. We were a couple episodes in, and And I was thinking, how can I wonder if there's a way to generate some business at at Merrill Lynch as an advisor because of this. I wonder if maybe I could go to Scranton, like something like that. And so I said, I wonder if there's a Scranton Merrill Lynch office. So I look it up. There is. I call the fellow that answers the phone. Lovely guy, Roland Greco is his name.
I
Roland,
know
if you're listening.
Roland.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yes.
And then and his kids, I think they have 6 kids, 5 or 6 kids.
I think 5, yeah.
And so I call him and he answers, and I mean, this is crazy. This is going back like 16, 17 years. And I said,
was in
hey,
high school, yeah.
And were you in high school with any of his kids?
Yeah,
I mean,
Gabrielle
I don't know,
was
yeah.
no, Gabrielle was a year behind me.
Yeah.
A year or 2 behind me, yeah.
And he was, I was like, hey, Roland, I'm like, you advisor out here in Los Angeles, and the show The Office. He says, of course. Where do you know The Office? You kidding? Of course. And I explained, like, it's funny, like I'm an advisor, but I'm the guy that plays Wallace, the boss. And he's like, huh? And it took a minute or two to sort of tell me I used to act and hadn't blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, they're having that convention. You coming to the convention? And I said, oh, no. And this is the one, like the first one they had in, I believe, I want to say 08, but it might have been 07 in the fall. And I said, no, I didn't know anything about it. And he said, well, my buddy Tim Holmes is putting it on with a couple of people. Let me call him. And within like 4 minutes, like I had talked to Tim and he included me. And so I was included in all of that. And it's all thanks to Roland being such a lovely guy. And then that was my first time going to Scranton. And it was just the greatest. I mean, it was 3 days of fun and meeting all the writers from the show, and certainly meeting there were like 10,000 people there, and meeting all those people. And so that began my love affair with the town of Scranton.
So
because I loved going back there.
I think that we met at the first office convention. So this first trip to Scranton you took, I think that we might have met.
So you would have been in high school, as you said,
yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah, high school, yeah.
It was, yeah, because it was 06. So yeah, it was I guess it was the fall of 07. Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys were staying at the Radisson, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
No, and so my uncle was the mayor at the time.
I know Doherty. Yeah. Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
He and my Aunt Mary are buddies from the Cross.
Oh,
from their days at Holy Cross.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I made my way up to your suites at one point. Like all you guys were hanging out, and so we might have met. I'm not positive.
Well, hello again.
Yes, you're meeting Maggie for the second time.
We meet again.
So I love your latest role. Opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger in Fubar, you played Donnie, and Donnie.
That's right. He's also on the show. I forgot.
No, but I think the best way to describe Donnie is like my generation grew up with the Santa Claus. There was Neil, remember, like the stepfather, and he was like this like stepfather. He wore all these weird sweaters, and Tim Allen's always poking fun at him. And I thought Donnie was like exactly like Neil. He was like this, working his way into the family, and yeah.
He's a nice guy. He's trying,
Yeah, he is trying.
That's there you go. That's a pretty good description. I don't know the Santa Claus all that well.
Oh, really?
I know there's like 4 of them.
Yeah.
I just never. It's one of those like series that I never actually watched. So I will now watch it and oh, there's Neil. All right.
Well, what were some of your favorite places that you visited in Scranton? You've been here a handful of times now.
I've been there. It's funny. And by the way, Fubar with Arnold and a bunch of other people comes out June 10th, I think, on Netflix. It'll be a lot of fun. It's I look much different this season.
Oh, really?
I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I look much more. I look like if Suck It David Wallace just continued to let himself go. It was really a lot of fun. Scranton's awesome. I love my favorite places. Well, the Radisson, obviously.
Yeah, it's a
But
good one.
it's primarily, well, the glider. I love the glider. I love going to visit my buddy Michelle Dempsey at her architectural firm, DX
Yeah.
Dempsey.
Have you been to the Glider Diner, Scranton's premier diner? You're sure to find something you love, from their hot roast beef sandwiches to their creamy milkshakes. Diner was even mentioned on hit NBC show The Office. Be sure to check out the Glider Diner. Yeah, love Michelle.
It's such a great office. And what's the part? Can I swear? I shouldn't swear.
Oh, you can swear.
My favorite places in Scranton, anywhere downtown, just walking around downtown. The
Yeah.
Everhart Museum is my new favorite place.
Yes,
Uh,
because we have Tim at the
Tim
Everhart,
Holmes,
which is
the
fantastic.
and he gave me. I was there when I was there a month ago. I took a whole tour. The place is unbelievable.
Isn't it
A
unbelievable?
the
Yeah.
like all the like all the fellow Everhart was a huge. He was a huge a bird watcher, and like every bird imaginable is there if you're like a bird fan. But I couldn't believe like some of the incredible artwork. I forget the artist's name, but there's a big New York artist who had a bunch of super cool stuff. He had like 2 rooms, probably like 10 paintings that I know I've seen a couple of them before. At least like, wait a second, I've seen that. That's a famous painting.
Yeah.
And then I know they got a big rock and roll section now.
Yeah.
And then like rock and roll posters and photos of like things you haven't seen before. And then the office thing that's coming up. And then outside is really cool. Like
It's beautiful.
the coal mine setup that they have.
Mhm.
I love all the bars downtown. I can't pick favorites.
No.
And then of course my favorite new place in Scranton is Chili's.
Yes.
Is the Chili's.
I know. They're
Um,
having incredible success. They're packed.
is it? Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
I'm trying
yeah.
to. I'm trying to.
I can't wait to go. I can't get in.
Well, tell him you know Wallace. Tell him,
I
hey,
will. I will.
the guy that was the bartender. I think they're going to try and set up something where like people from the show might like come and visit every once in a while and like be hanging out at the Chili's for the night or something like that.
That'd be awesome.
That's something that they were talking about that I think Tim Holmes is speaking to them about it.
Nice.
But then honestly, I love going for family dinner at the Dempsey's family dinner, or staying at the Holmeses. It's very much a family feeling.
Yeah.
And
Definitely. That's the Scranton vibe.
yeah.
So, what is your home life like? Can I ask, are you married?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm just like a regular stiff husband, father. Take out the trash. I'm sure my wife's away for a couple of days. I'm sure there's something she asked me to do that I will forget to do. But no, like I got a 19-year-old son who's he's out here. So we live in Los Angeles. He's wants to act. He's trying to do that. And he has had a couple of little. He got himself in the union, which is good. It's always like the first hard step, and then and he works on sets like as a PA and studies acting, and then auditions and all of that. So we'll see how that goes.
Wow, that's great.
You never know, but
Yeah.
he seems to be doing it for like the good, like he really enjoys it, like
Yeah.
good reason. So, and then I got a 14-year-old. He's a little goofball, a lot of fun. That's the one I'm picking up at school. He has no interest in acting. He's on the tech side of things. So they're doing Willy Wonka this year. So he's
wow.
he's like doing the lights for Willy Wonka. And well, the interesting thing, that's my home life. I'm just like a regular goofball married guy who likes to watch golf on TV, and like I'm boring. But my wife is kind of the interesting one. She's actually a very sought after acting coach.
Oh, really?
like you you know, and it's funny, you wouldn't, I mean, you know, like people have like guys like Michael Jordan or Tom Brady, like they have coaches and everything. A lot of people wouldn't necessarily think that you have a coach as you know, as actors, but many of them do. And like, you know, like a lot of, I don't know if Robert De Niro does or Meryl Streep, but like she coaches Jennifer Aniston and Margot Robbie. And
Wow.
I don't know if any of the women out there have heard of Channing Tatum. Um, wah wah. He's a lovely guy. All three of them are super lovely. But and you know, she got a number more. Jennifer Garner, and you know, I mean, she got a bunch of people. Oh, she's been coaching Ariana Grande for the last few years for Wicked,
Oh
and it's
wow.
then
That's
she got like
amazing.
so you got people who are just, you know, like how I would describe myself, like lucky to be like a working actor, and then she has people who are, you know, trying to get there, and then she has people like Ariana or other singers or, you know, people like comedians, and they suddenly they're going to act, and so they have a coach, and she'll work with them, and so that and she does that at our house she has a studio off our garage, so it's kind of that's the interesting thing about our house. Like every once in a while, like, wait, who just walked down the driveway? Was that, you know, someone like instead of, but it's funny. Our kids are kind of used to it.
That's
So,
pretty
but
cool.
it's kind of neat. Aside from that, I'm just like, you know, come on, guys, turn the lights out. Come on, don't leave the lights on during the day. You know, you turn into your parents. You know,
Are there any pets at the Buckley household?
we have two fantastic dogs, like
Yeah.
a little Bichon that was actually a present from one of my wife's friends, and someone she works with also, and they saw our Benny with their dogs, and they're like, "You got to get this kid a dog." Like, you know, 12 years ago, and then like 3 months later, they said, "Hey, we got the perfect dog for him," and we are like, "Yeah, well, that's okay, great, that's great, that's very nice of you." And then Benny found another one like a year and a half ago, and I think he's like, I don't know if he's a mini German Shepherd or that's kind of what he looks like. I say he because, but it's a she. I always confuse I always like call Cody our long-standing Bichon her, and I always call Penny, who is a her, him. I don't know why I always do this, but gosh, I never had dogs. Dogs are the greatest. They're the greatest. I
Yeah.
get it.
I'm a dog lover. We didn't grow up with pets. We're another family of 6 children, so but yeah, they're great.
Do you
Uh
have one now?
no, I don't, but yeah, someday. I live in an apartment downtown. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't have a ton of space. So, um but I was looking over your IMDb, and you've stayed really busy since The Office. In between The Office and Fubar, you've been busy. And do you have a favorite role that you've played?
Knock on wood. I get to stay busy. Um, my favorite, yeah. I mean, I got the Fubar one's a ton of fun. I got to do this. Well, I got to be on Veep for just like 3 episodes. That was still during The Office, but which was fantastic. I got the other guys was great, but I got to be on in Fubar is really a blast. I mean, it's not every day you like go to work and like there's Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Yeah.
you're talking to him, and like you're just a couple of guys talking, and he's such a lovely open guy. You just ask him anything, and it was really fun. I was reading his latest book is a great book called Be Useful, and just like habits, attributes of his that, you know, that he thinks led to, you know, his success. And so while I was reading it, last summer, I'd get to go into work and like, hey, so when the California fires happened down in San Diego, when you were mayor, or when you were governor, and like you talk about this here, like, so what else happened? And then he just starts talking about it for 20 minutes. It's unbelievable. It's
Oh
the
my
greatest.
gosh.
It's really cool. But I got to do a show in London in England, which was just awesome. An HBO show from the fellow who made Veep, created it, called Avenue 5, which was a ton of fun with Hugh Laurie, the guy from House, and
Yeah.
Josh Gad, Josh, the lovely guy, and Zach Woods from The Office is also on it, and a bunch of great actors. But like, I got to be in London for 5 months, 2 separate times, and before COVID and then post COVID, and that was a blast because it was a ton of, crazy, wacky show, and you get to be in London. That's like some of the crazy perks. I did a show in 2011 and 12 while The Office was still going. It was actually during like the year and a half or so that they got rid of me during seasons 7 and 8. It was a teen drama that was sort of a sister show. I bet you know this. You might know the show. There was Pretty Little Liars. Probably know that. But then we were called The Lying Game, which was
really?
a sister show. Same author, same book author, same company, same. I always say like Desperate Housewives for younger girls. Got a lot of mystery, all that stuff, and she was the twins. There were twins that were separated. It wasn't switched at birth because that was like another show.
Yeah.
But they were twins and they were adopted to different families. Anyway, it was a ton of fun, but that that was in Austin, Texas. So I'm living in Austin, Texas for the better part of a couple of years, and then a fun show called Odd Mom Out, which was a very funny skewering of like the Upper East Side of New York, written by this woman, and she starred in it too, and she was fantastic, named Jill Kargman. So we got we got to do 3 seasons of that. So for 4 months I'm in New York doing that. It was a hoot. It was a hoot. So that's the thing. It's funny is a lot of shows don't film in LA, so you get hired and then suddenly you're somewhere, you're in Austin, you're in New York, you're in Toronto, hanging with Arnold, you're in London. It's nuts. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
A cool perk.
It seems like every generation loves The Office more and more. The more it's on TV being replayed, like the more I hear, I'm the second oldest of 6. But like my youngest brother, who has no idea what I watched in high school, like loves The Office and he thinks it's the greatest thing. And we all know like what our favorite episodes are and so on, but what was going on behind the scenes? Can you tell us any tidbits that, any antics that were going on behind the scenes? In case you can't tell, I love coffee, and I especially love Electric City Roasting's locally roasted coffee products. And if you're a fan of The Office, you're going to especially love their roast, Boom Roasted. And get this, for 20% off Boom Roasted coffee beans or K-Cups, use code BOOM20 on electricityroasting.com.
That's the thing. It's funny is I'm not such a. I always felt like I was like the third cousin or something like that to the family, because I would show up. I mean, the first 3 or 4 seasons, I would show up. Or no, I wouldn't show up. Actually, all my scenes were Steve was coming to corporate, so I didn't really. That was the great thing about the convention. I got to really meet everybody else on the show, because I'd met most of them, but hadn't really spent more than a minute or two talking to them, because I was just like, hey, how you doing? You meet someone, excuse me, as their scene finishes, and you're about to start your scene with Steve, and or my scene with Steve, and. So I didn't necessarily know, so a ton of people before that. The convention was very helpful, and then season 5, I started going to Scranton a lot, and I'd get to meet people. But like I would never like hang around. I wasn't super social with everyone, 'cause I was still like working at Merrill Lynch, like that was my job.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think. I got nothing. I got no dirt. I got no funny stories.
No, that's
I
okay.
I'm like the boring talk show host guest. I got no stories for you, Dave. You know, or Colbert. I guess now it's Colbert. Um, but they would. Yeah, I mean, everybody had a ton of fun. I know that. I mean, when you're like get to spend the day with a bunch of funny people, you're gonna laugh a lot.
Yeah.
So, you know,
When did you get out of the stock market business?
it's kind of funny. Right as the show was ending, and it was primarily, which was kind of funny. Like, why did you get out then? The show was ending. It was because of the other show, the teen drama, The Lion Game. We were, we're filming that in Austin, and I would commute every week because our younger guy Xander was just born, and so just about and I would always say, well, when I go home, I'm gonna go into the Merrill Lynch office, or I said I'll go into the office in Austin when I'm there on my off days, and I never did. And I had gotten partners like 3 or 4 years before, and they were really doing all the work. And it was one of those things like, all right, Buckley, you haven't been in the office in 2 years. I mean, it's probably time. And I kind of thought the Lion Game was going to continue, and it's funny, it ended right around the same time as The Office. So first it was the last season of The Office, so I was on like 2 shows at once, and then suddenly I was on no shows. So yeah, what's that? 2013, I guess, like right at the beginning of 2013. But I loved it. I mean, it was great. To all the financial advisors out there, rock on, baby. To all the Merrill Lynch folks, I was in the 208 Century City office. And hello to Roland and everyone. I don't think I think Roland's at a different firm now, but anyway, I loved it. It was great. And and I must say, I was never a regular on The Office, so I needed the job at Merrill Lynch also. Kids are expensive. But it also kept me very grounded, like having like a regular job type thing, or a different career where you get yelled at by someone because you've messed up they wanted to buy this stock, not that stock, or you did something, or you didn't send them something they were supposed to send. And so it reminded you of like what life is really like, because when you're actually acting and you've been hired and you're like on the set or around the set, whatever it is, you're like getting paid to do it, they treat you incredibly nicely, like, what can we get you, what can we do for you? I mean, it's in it, and it just reminds you of like what real life is like. So it kept me very grounded, keeping my other job.
So besides trading stocks and acting, do you have any other hobbies?
I love golf.
Oh,
I
wow.
grew up like another exciting talk show podcast topic, golf. No, I do. I was like, that was the thing I did in high school, and that helped me get into college. And and I'm a big fan of it. You want to know where I was earlier today? I was at the women's LPGA. They're in town.
Oh my
I got
gosh.
some buddies. One of my good buddies is an announcer. I mean, like an hour before we did this, that's where I was. And it's right near my son's school, and so I was like, "Hey, I'll come up. I'll see you. I'll walk around with you for a couple hours, and then I'll go get my son." So like that's what I was doing earlier. The Golf Channel's always on. But aside from that, just hanging out, doing stuff with my kids. Occasionally my wife, when she has time, she's the busy one. She's really great at what she does, and so that makes her in high demand. And even if I'm working, I still got like 6 or 7 months of the year where I'm not that busy. I got a lot of free time. And I mean that's there you go. That's just do whatever it is. Go hanging out with my son, going playing tennis with my younger son. Whatever if my older son wants to spend any time with me, whatever he wants, because he doesn't want to spend any time with me. He's 19. He's got stuff to do. Going swimming, whatever. Going okay once a year, going skiing with these guys just to the Big Bear Mountain here. Just regular dad stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go get a slice of pizza.
So do they have great pizza in California? I've never been to Los Angeles, but Scranton has amazing pizza.
Scranton has great pizza. Definitely so. I wish I could remember the names, but I've had some great late in the evening slices of pizza.
I'm sure.
After hitting a few of the bars with Holmes and Dempsey. They do out here. There's a bunch. I mean, I just go to like my local. Luckily, they have a couple of great slices. La Monica's in Westwood, which is not local, but I love that place. But the Village Pizza down the street, whatever. But I'm eating less pizza these days because it's I gained a couple of pounds.
You're cutting out a little bit.
I was just saying I'm eating less pizza these days because I gotta shed a couple of pounds. I gained some weight for FUBAR. Well, I'll use that as my excuse for FUBAR last year, and it takes a while to lose it as you get older.
It's okay. It's the dad bod, right?
I guess so. I guess so.
What are some favorite bars that you like to hit in Scranton?
See, I never know the names of these things. That's the thing that's terrible because Tim is always taking me there. But
the best ones are like the neighborhood bars that don't have a sign.
What are the ones that, like, if you tell me names, I'll say, oh yeah.
Well, I'm from Greenridge, so it was like Andy Gavin's. Let's see. What else is in Greenridge? Backyard Ale House is downtown.
That's a classic. Yeah,
that's a classic.
I was there a month ago.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and then Cooper's has a great bar.
Well, Cooper's is just it's so funny. I don't think of Cooper's as just a bar because it's
an institution.
I love walking around there. I didn't get to go there this particular trip. Because we were with the Chili's people, and then we went to the Backyard Ale House, and then I had to leave the next morning. Cooper's is, and I love those guys. It's funny. I wonder if they added it. I know they love Jaws as much as I do, and I sent them a couple of like Jaws memorabilia things. I was hoping that would make it into the Cooper's.
I'm sure
layout.
They're there. Yeah, I'm sure they're there.
I'll have to check next time, but that place is just insane how great it is.
Yeah.
It's funny. I used to love when Tim was at the paper. I love going to visit the paper just to see like the giant machinery that it takes to put together the paper, and which I guess nothing's happening with that building now, but
no, but the
that was
giant
great.
Machinery is still there.
Right.
You can see it through the window. It's amazing. Yeah. That was a good era.
That was so great. The shifting in my seat. There we go. But yeah, Backyard Ale House, I guess, is the one that I know the most by name. But there's a couple others, and there's some great restaurants. There's a cool new restaurant. I haven't eaten there. It just looked like a cool new one that's right next to the Fidelity building, the Electric City sign.
Atera.
That's what. Yeah, it's very. It looks like it's a very fancy restaurant. We walked into it.
Have you been to Atera in downtown Scranton? The epitome of sophistication on the restaurant scene? It has an NYC vibe and a white tablecloth standard. I can't get enough of their elevated Italian-American cuisine and elegant atmosphere. Check out Atera 519 on Linden Street in Scranton today.
I haven't eaten there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember where I ate last time with Tim Holmes. Oh, the guy was so nice and the food was fantastic. I just can't remember the name of it.
Where was it? Where, like, what was it, downtown? Or was
see,
it in,
Tim is always like driving and and I just like I'm like
go
the
along.
passenger.
Yeah.
So I never
You're
I don't pay
passenger
attention
princess.
as much. I'm passenger princess. There you go. I'm gonna use that again.
Yeah, well, Scranton's a ton of fun, and we love having you. And anytime you want to come back on Meeting Maggie, we'd love to have you. Thank you so much for doing this, Andy.
Well, it's my pleasure, Maggie, and nice to see you again.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
since every 17 years or whenever that was, 10 years, something. But well, maybe we'll get to meet in person. I'm sure I'll be coming back to Scranton in the next 2 to 5 months, I imagine. I know Tim's going to be opening the big office. I think he has it. Michelle's doing the design. And I think he's hoping to have it up by maybe the end of the summer. So I'm sure I'll be there maybe, during that time, definitely. So maybe
Awesome.
we'll get to say hello at the Backyard Ale House.
Yeah, sounds good.
And please say hi to Uncle Chris.
I will.
Mr. Mayor. Paige, the present mayor.
Paige Cognetti. Yeah.
Cognetti. I know.
Yeah,
I know it's
yeah,
Paige.
yeah.
Cognetti. Yeah, there you go. She's great. She's great too.
Yeah.
I've met her a number of times. But, well, a pleasure. This was a lot of fun, Maggie. Thanks for having me.
Everyone, this is Andy Buckley on Meeting Maggie.
Hopefully Hopefully I didn't bore the crowd too much.
Oh my gosh, absolutely not. This is riveting.
Well, thanks, Maggie.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.